Well, for me, it was partly that I wanted to show Pakistan, instead of being a peculiar, odd place different from everywhere else, as kind of a universal place, and use the city of Lahore as an idea of this universal third world megacity.
Which is a city you know well, right? You still live there?
Yes, I live there, I was born there, I've spent half my life there.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because you could clearly live anywhere you wanted to, and lots of people your age are leaving Pakistan. I mean, it feels to me sometimes like anyone who can live somewhere else wants to live somewhere else.
Well, the one thing which I really like about being in Pakistan, among other things, is that I grew up in a house with my grandparents and my parents and me, my siblings, cousins. And now my children are we live in an apartment upstairs from my parents. And so we have this tri-generational life going on. And I really value that. It's very central to my sense of the kind of life that I like. So in very personal terms, it's nice to be in Pakistan.
But there are so many challenges from living there. And actually, your book shows the life of people for whom it is not nice to live in Pakistan. I mean, there are descriptions of really grinding poverty. Were you trying to say something about injustice or open the eyes of readers?
Well, I think, I was trying to, in an unsentimental way, show different slivers of society, including sort of grinding poverty in villages and in slums. But also the emerging middle class and entrepreneurs who are making it big. I kind of wanted to show the diversity of society in a place like Pakistan or any big third world megacity like Lahore. And also to show how the market and capitalism has completely taken over. And everyone is striving so hard to make a living.
So you can get filthy rich in a country like Pakistan?
Well, some people do. A lot of money is stashed in Dubai and London and places like this. But I think what's more common is people make one or two steps up. We had recently a literature festival in Lahore. At the Lahore Literary Festival, about 25,000 people showed up, and for a weekend of talking about books. And a huge proportion of them were young students, often college students, who are the first generation of their families to go to college, went to Urdu schools, but are reading novels in English, which they've learned really in college. And that change from grinding poverty to middle class, or from middle class to upper middle class, that is happening.
Okay. Well, let's talk about your previous book, which nearly won the Booker Prize, did fantastically well, the Reluctant Fundamentalist. It's just been made into a film. I say just, I mean, I'm sure the work on the filming was long. But before we talk about it, here is a glimpse of the trailer for the Reluctant Fundamentalist.
Although I was raised to feel very Pakistani, it fell on me to work hard for my family. I left to go west, where I was welcomed with open arms.
You have 20 minutes to convince me that you belong at Underwood Sanderson.
In America, I get an equal chance to win. And whether or not you hire me, Jim, I am going to win.
Good answer. Congratulations.
Your expression was amazing.
What exactly do you do at the Underwood?
We help companies to increase their value.
You have a gift for this. A very lucrative gift.
So, a glimpse of the film of The Reluctant Fundamentalist. All writers get asked this, but for you, how did it feel to see the characters you created visualized by someone else?
Well, it's strange, but I think what made it pleasurable, at least for me, was partly that Meera Nair is a fantastically collaborative director and someone I had enormous trust in.
Did she want to know what you thought of the screenplay?
She did. She involved me in co-writing the first draft of the screenplay, and then brought me onto set and came to Lahore, stayed with us several times. So we spent a lot of time together during the film. But the other part of it was, I think a film is a separate thing. It's different from a book. So rather than trying to hold her to the standard of it must be exactly my book on screen, it was, here is a filmmaker making a film inspired by a book, but that's free to be her own vision. And
but were there moments where you thought, I wish she hadn't done that to my story?
Well, I wouldn't say there were moments where I wish she hadn't done that. I had to stop thinking of it as a novelist, because as a novelist you have complete control over every aspect of your picture.
Every letter, you've put it there.
Absolutely. Whereas in the film world, you are just one contributor to the overall project. That was different, but I've never made a film before, so partly what took over was I was observing making a movie, which is a fantastic thing to watch happen. So I learned a lot.
Well, Mohsin, I mean, is there an element of your own story in it? Because this is about the Reluctant Fundamentalist is about a young man who goes to America, and that was also your experience, right? You worked in the States for many years.
I mean, I'm familiar with, I went to Princeton, I worked in the corporate, New York world, so I've seen those things. But The Reluctant Fundamentalist is about a man who feels he has to choose. He has to be either American or Pakistani, you know, either sort of corporate Western or Muslim. Whereas I'm someone who's very comfortable being a mongrel, you know, hybrid. And so we're very different, the main character and I.
Most people say citizen of the world or polymath. I like the way that you chose to call yourself a mongrel.
Yeah, I think it's something grittier than citizen of the world, but yes.